Hello everyone, my name is Kevin from CryptoFred76, where we do customizing and make movies with our Imaginext action figures. It's been a while, but I am back with a brand new customizing trick, and this one is an absolute game changer. It is a question I've been asked more than any other, and one I've been asking of other customizers for years. But before I get started, I need to do a shout out. While I was searching eBay for figures and parts that I needed, I found a seller with very fair prices, excellent feedback, and a great cross-section of toys for sale, and some very creative and cool things he had made himself. When my order arrived, this note was included along with these buttons he'd made. Thanks, David, for a great transaction, a fun surprise, and for the high praise of following my work here and on Facebook. If you are buying on eBay, he is a highly recommended seller. All right, now back to the highly anticipated, long-awaited Imaginext arm swap video, which, if you read the title, you already knew that's what we're going to do today, so let's get started. Now, first off, this method of arm swapping was created by my good friend J.T. Burkett, who has done some truly amazing customs and was nice enough to share his method with me. These are the tools you're going to need to complete this custom. First, a nice sharp X-Acto knife. Don't underestimate the importance of a sharp blade. It might seem counterintuitive, but a sharp blade makes a cleaner cut, and a dull blade means you have to work that much harder to make the cut, giving you a much greater chance to slip and cut yourself. So be careful. Next, I have a lighter. Nothing fancy, just a regular grill lighter will do. This is used to heat the blade so it cuts the plastic smoother and easier. To be honest, I've tried cutting both ways and find the lighter to be unnecessary. It seemed to work the same no matter how much I heated the blade. But I know some people out there swear by it, so I included it here. You guys try it both ways and let me know what you think in the comments. Finally, I have glue. I have lots of different types of glue that I use for different projects, but for this project, I'm using Gorilla Super Glue. It dries clear, it bonds in 15 to 20 seconds, it's really strong, and it doesn't get gloppy. I mean, it's not made to fill in gaps. It's perfect for this project. Now, as you can see, I've got these two guys here. They're similar guys from the same era of Imaginext, but it doesn't matter because Imaginext figures have had the same arms for, I don't know, forever. So any two figures that you want to modify will work just fine together. I'm going to show you this green guy because I already got started on him. What I did was I cut the arm right here in the shoulder seam. And now I can gently pry the arm off. And now I'm left with just this green round shoulder joint. I'll show you again on the other side. Twist it so that the part you cut is on the bottom. Pry that out first and position it outside the joint. As you twist the arm around, you can pop the whole arm out. Now I've got my two loose arms. You can see where I made the cuts. You might have noticed that I cut one on the front side of the joint and one on the back side. It doesn't make a huge difference, but I think I prefer cutting it on the back seam. I think they slide in and out easier that way. Now take a quick look at the armless figure. See how the joints are pointed up? If you swivel them around, they look the same. They'll always point straight out from the body, so that orientation doesn't matter. Okay, let's go to work on my gray arm friend. Get your knife out. And now would be the time to heat the blade up if you choose to. I'm not going to do that this time. So let's just get straight to work. I'm going to make both my cuts on the back seam this time. So here's the joint. You can see the seam in front, but I want to find the one in the back. So I'm going to push the tip straight in there until I feel resistance. Then get it in there. Then kind of reposition so I can kind of use the figure's body to make a nice cut right through that inner post. You'll be able to feel when you've made it through. The shoulder joint is straight up and down now, but I need to turn it 90 degrees so the back seam is on the bottom. That's where my cut is. Now I can use just my fingernail to gently pry the shoulder open, then rotate it 90 degrees again so the body holds the shoulder open, and gently work the arm out. And you have the same ring left in the shoulder as the green guy. Then I remove the other arm the same way, and we are halfway there. Now here we go. I've got 2 armless guys and 4 guyless arms. And we're going to take these gray arms and put them on our green guy. And when you're reattaching the arms, pay attention to which is the right arm and which is the left. You don't want to mix that up. The next thing you need to pay attention to is the shoulder ring orientation. Remember I said when they are straight up and down, they always point out. Doesn't matter how many times you flip them around, they always point out. However, when they are sideways, they always point up. Flip them around, they point up. Doesn't matter. So, I grab the arm that I want to reattach and pry the joint open and make sure that the peg is on the bottom part of the joint. And open the thing up and push the peg into the bottom of the ring. Spin it around and you have the smaller part on the bottom, and squeeze the whole thing back together. Spin it again and it closes the shoulder right up. See how tight that fits? You could almost leave it like this, but I have one more step I'm going to do. Now, take the other arm, turn the ring, push the peg into the ring first. That one went in a lot easier. Spin the whole thing around, push the bottom part in, and the arm is attached. Perfect. No one would ever know. Let me just clean off my surface in the background here so we have room to work. Okay, this part can be a tiny bit tricky, but I'm sure you guys can handle it. Alright, we have our green guy here with his new gray arms. They stay in place pretty well, just like this. But we're going to take it one step further. Turn the arm so the ring is horizontal and gently pry the joint open again. Grab your glue. Again, I like the Gorilla Glue, super glue, with the blue cap. Be careful though, because it dries out fast. Now, you don't need a lot of glue for this, just a tiny dab. Here it comes. Just a tiny bit. Make sure it's not the side with the peg attached. It should be flat inside. Right on the end. Alright, I don't know if you can see, but I have just a tiny dab. And I want to get it right inside my guy's arm, right on the peg in the middle. Be careful not to use too much. You don't want it to bond on the ring. Then you just squeeze the shoulder back together, and you need to keep moving the arm while the glue bonds so it doesn't freeze in place. Make sure you move it both ways, twist it around, and move it up and down. Keep doing this until you're sure the glue has bonded. For me, this glue sets in about 15 to 20 seconds, but I'm going to give it at least a good minute to set. You got to make sure, because you have the parts that you want to glue and the parts that you don't want to glue. So you got to make sure you hold it together and keep moving everything around for a while. And I'm going to wait until this is completely done before I move to the other side. I don't want to mess with the arm on the other side before I know that this one is secure. So after a minute I can relax a bit, but every few minutes I'm going to come back and move the arm around some more to make sure that the joint hasn't frozen up. Alright, while my man's drying in the background, I want to talk about something else. Taking these arms off, having this guy armless, is a great opportunity to fix another problem that a lot of customizers have: painting the shoulders. What will happen is when you paint a figure's arms, most times the arms will rub against the ring and the paint will come off. It's one of the worst rub spots on an Imaginext. Since we have it apart though, I can now sand down the ring enough to eliminate the rub issue. So I've got my Dremel, but you could just use sandpaper if you want to. But I use the Dremel to gently sand down the ring. Just a little. Just enough so the pieces don't touch. Remember, we're talking about the thickness of a layer of paint. So don't go nuts. The sanding will also rough the plastic up a little bit, which gives the paint something to stick to. And that's all there is to it. We're done on this side already. You can see it's a little more roughed up, but that's it. Flip them over and do the other side too. Make sure you turn the ring around so you get the bottom. You can see where it's rougher on the top than the bottom now. Hit it again with the Dremel or the sandpaper. That's it. Doesn't take much, but it can make a huge difference later when you're ready to paint. This is the perfect time to tackle this little issue. So there it is. That's how you swap the Imaginext arms. You can see my two examples here. Mr. Green Arm's joints are tight and smooth, and you can't even tell that an arm swap has been done, no matter how close you look. Mr. Gray Arms looks just the same. Tight, smooth, can't even tell. Now here's an example of a finished custom I made of Aqualad from Young Justice. This was also an idea I got from the great J.T. Burkett. And here he is with a couple of his teammates. You can see where I painted the shoulder ring, and because I sanded it, I can move the arm up and down and it doesn't rub. I can spin it around, whatever. And he looks the same on the other side. Fully painted, arms articulate. I hope I covered everything and you understand all of this, but of course if you have any questions, as always, drop them in the comments. I'll do my best to respond to anything you need to know. I also did a hand swap and a head swap to make him, so it's a good example of using parts from different sources to create new characters. I have videos on how to do all those things and more if you visit the main page, CryptoFred76. We also have stop motion movies to watch, and don't forget to hit that like button if you found this helpful. Subscribe so you don't miss any more tips and tricks, and ring that bell so you know when something new happens. Good luck with all your custom projects, and have a good day.